That book is awesome, man. That's the best football book I've ever read, man. Phenomenal. I just can't believe your football pedigree with Walsh and Al Davis and Belichick.
I'm a combination of somebody who saw something, they wanted it, and they ran and got it. A high school friend of mine saw me on the beach, and he ended up being the head coach of Valley Forge Military Academy. He got me to go to Valley Forge, which really started my career because it actually got me into a more disciplined routine and got me to where I could understand what the world was about. And it's like writing a book. You know, if you don't have a structure to what you're writing, you can't really write a book. Mm-hmm. So in life, you need a structure, like how am I going to go from A to B? And while I was in Hofstra in college, I was really dedicated to trying to learn football. So I would go to coaching clinics throughout the Northeast. Once football season was over, I would drive on a Friday or Saturday, and I would go to some coaching clinic, whether it was in Nutley, New Jersey, or down in Atlantic City or anywhere, just to learn the game. You know, I wanted to learn football. I wanted to be involved. I really wasn't worried about making money.
So you started your career with, one of the GOATs, Bill Walsh, in 1984 at the start of the San Francisco dynasty.
And so as I got more comfortable doing what I did, I was able to ask him a lot of football questions that probably, had I not done that job, I would have never been able to do. Paul Brown is the Bill Gates of the NFL. He developed the operating system for coaches. He is the Microsoft, if you will, for coaching. When I would get on a team bus in San Francisco, I would always sit behind Coach Walsh if he needed something. And 9 times out of 10, he was usually doodling on a white index card a play from Clark Shaughnessy's offense, the T formation. So what Walsh decided was, I can't run the ball against these bigger and better teams. I need to figure out a way to do that. And that's where the West Coast offense came from. You know, people said that's just a fad. You know, there was a strong contingency in the league that thought forward throwing the ball was really being soft.
Champions behave like champions before they are champions.
He used to tell me all the time, he'd say, kid, you can't work in the NFL. You got to live in the NFL. You know, it's the little things in football that matter, right? You know, there's a great saying by Marcus Aurelius that the secret to all victory lies in the organization of the non-obvious.
The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Like there's little maxims like that, just like, let's go. Like, you know, you hear whatever's in front of you.
Aaron Donald's a fabulous player. In fact, my next book, I write up the top one, who I believe are the top 100 players of all time in the NFL. But nobody could dominate. Calling plays is a feel. You got to know the game. You got to make the adjustments. You got to correct what's wrong with the play, fix the play. You know, it's an art. Just like calling defenses. So you only ask that question from an offensive standpoint. Nobody credits defensive play callers. Mm-hmm. Nobody credits them. Nobody talks about them. And it's an art too. Remember this about football. Football is 4 quarters. Yep. The first quarter is all about the assessment.
Yep.
We practice what's going on. Is this what we wanted? Is this what we thought would happen? The second and the third quarter, you adjust to that. Mm-hmm. The fourth quarter stands alone.
With all the stuff you have going on, the Daily Coach and your writing and your podcast, when you need to clear your mind and recharge your body, what do you do?
Writing is a great way to kind of unclutter yourself. If Steve Jobs needs a coach, then everybody needs a coach. I like to know what I'm going to work on in the morning.
Okay.
Because I think when you know what you're going to work on in the morning, if I'm going to write something tomorrow morning, I want to know it before I close my desk down. Mm-hmm. And then I really end up thinking about it all through the night. Don't always be curious. Keep trying to learn.
Always be curious.
The greatest reward for doing is the opportunity to do more.